Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning it is.
Stephen St. John.
I am the greatest.
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
All around is watching us, the Mexicans. And I feel proud about represent Mexico. ¡Viva México, cabrones!
Welcome to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Spartans! What is your profession? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
It's time!
New Day with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated, and HLAC certified to the highest standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics in and around the metro area. Walker Medical Linen Services in Kansas City and online at walkermls.com.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, it's a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
The Kansas City Royals.
Eflin's 0-1. Swinging a roller into right field, a base hit for Pasquantino. Massey scores from third, and Vinny Pasquantino gives the Royals a 1-0 lead in the top of the first in Game 2. 2-1. Maria swings, drives it in the air left field, toward the wall. Melendez back on the run! Made the catch! He bangs into the wall and hangs on for out number 1 in the third.
I don't know what the probability on that catch was, but it was probably close to 0.
The 1-0. O'Hearn swings, jam job up the middle, diving stab. Massey rises, fires, and throws out O'Hearn at first. What a play by Michael Massey from second for out number 2. Or can Melendez deliver after the fine glove work from him earlier in left as well? 1-2 pitch. Melendez swings and misses, strike 3. Chased a changeup down, and Webb dodges danger and leaves the bases loaded. Mullins brings speed. He's trying to get aboard. The 3-2. Swing and a well-struck fly ball. Right field. Renfro's back. It is gone. This game is tied. It's lefty, switch hitter, lefty in this pocket of the Baltimore lineup. So Matt Quatrero comes out, pulls his all-star right-hander, and summons the young lefty Angel Zerpa in a 1-1 game with the Orioles with the bases loaded and 1 out. And they've got the bases loaded with 1 out for Colton Cowser. His 1-2 comes inside on a swing. It's a roller to third. Zerpa picks it up, and now it's called foul, and it's a strikeout. Cowser got hit by the pitch, but swung at it. And so he strikes out for out number 2, and the training staff rushes out to pay attention to Colton Cowser.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate here for the Baltimore Orioles because this was, and I believe it was ruled a swing.
The lefty Zerpa starts the wind. 2-2. Swinging a line drive to short. With gloves on a hop. Long throw to first in time, and the inning's over. Angel Zerpa induces the ground out from Adley Rutschman and keeps the bases loaded in the bottom of the 5th. Runners at the corners, 2 out, 6th inning. Yennier Cano's 1-1. Witt swings back up the middle on the ground. Diving snap, Westberg at second. Bounces the throw. Not in time, and a run scores. Kyle Isbell scores from third on a hot shot comebacker behind the bag. And Jordan Westberg could not get it to first to beat the fastest player in the sport. 2-1 Royals. The 1-1. Mullins swings, rolls it towards second. Hampson approaches gloves and retires Mullins for the first out. In the bottom of the 9th inning in game 2. Righty to righty 0-1. Urias swings, hits it hard to third. Garcia gobbles, throws across in time, and there's 2 down in the bottom of the 9th. It's 1-2, and the Orioles are down to their final strike of the season. And the Royals 1 strike away from advancing. Urseg comes set, waist high. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The Royals are moving on to the ALDS. 2-1 the final in Baltimore, and Kansas City comes to Camden Yards and sweeps the Orioles.
And it is a stunner. Just an amazing job by the Kansas City Royals. Pitching, defense, coming up with the big base hit when they need to. And, wow, just a magical job by Quatraro working that bullpen, and they delivered for him in that pen.
Well, there's a million things going through my mind. I mean, from my parents, my Little League coaches, you know, every family member and friend that's ever helped me and supported me. But more than anything is that the competitiveness of that group of guys in that room is just overwhelming. It's inspiring to me, and it has been all year. I cannot say enough good things about them as professionals, as competitors. And, you know, that's what's going through my mind, and as well as everybody in this organization that's put their blood, sweat, and tears into this and to help us get to this point.
Unbelievable. This is what we work for in the off-season, in spring training, and just we wanted to bring it back to KC, and I keep saying it, that's what we wanted to do, and now we're doing it, so we just got to take things one day at a time, one step at a time like we've been doing, and it's unbelievable doing it for the fans, and so I can't wait to play a game there, but first, we got to do it in New York.
Yeah, how about that? The boys are playing some ball, huh?
I like to be happy.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ. It's Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. The Royals sweep the Orioles. And now they advance to the ALDS. And for the first time since 1980, the Royals will face the Yankees in the playoffs. Let's go, baby!
Yes, sir.
Unbelievable. From 106 losses last year to an ALDS showdown against the hated New York Yankees. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Congratulations to the Royals. That was incredible. Matt Quatraro, the pitching staff, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, everybody. Another nail biter after beating Baltimore 1-0. The Royals finish off the sweep, winning 2-1. Seth Lugo lasted 4 1/3, 82 pitches, 5 hits, but only gave up the 1 run, the home run, had 6 strikeouts. And this bullpen, man. This bullpen, which at one point was thought to be the weakness. We thought that if something was going to keep the Royals out of the postseason, it was probably going to be the bullpen. We thought that if something was going to lead to a quick exit from the postseason, it was probably going to be the bullpen. Yesterday, Zerpa, 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts. Schreiber, 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts. Long, after his performance the day before, 2/3 of an inning. He had a walk and a strikeout. Bubich, 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs. And then the man, Lucas Erceg, a perfect inning with a strikeout to end the game. Lucas Erceg. I probably watched that final strike, 15 times until my wife told me to stop. So why are you watching it again? I said, watch Salvi's reaction. So I kept rewinding it to watch Salvi's reaction.
Thank you, my friend.
I said, now watch Erceg's reaction. Kept rewinding that. He said, why do you keep watching it? I said, that's what I do.
I like to be happy.
I want to talk about this tomorrow. I want to see everything. And honestly, listen, this is as basic as it gets. It makes me feel good to see this over and over again. It gives me chills. It almost puts tears in my eyes. It makes me happy. I want to keep watching this. Look, watch. I could not get enough, when you're watching on YouTube TV, hitting that 15 seconds back, 15 seconds back, 15 seconds back, over and over again, watching the final strike.
I like to be happy.
And Salvi gets up and just like, I loved it. That's why you watch 162 games to get to moments like that. I don't want to watch it once and then just change the channel. Watch that damn thing over and over again. Probably go home later on and watch it a few more times. Watch Salvi's reaction. Watch Erceg's reaction. Watch Bobby Witt Jr. jump in the air. How do you not love that? Watch Quatrero and Paul Hoover and all the coaching staff embrace in the dugout. I mean, it's awesome. Those are the moments. That's why we, crazy people that we are, invest so much time and money into sports and watching sports and going to live sporting events and spending our free time watching games. It's not just about watching the game. It's about who you're watching it with, right? About spending time with your friends and your family, having fun watching the game. And I mean, look, you know how I am. If you've listened to the show long enough, you know how I am. I get, my emotions can be all over the place, No. We're just within one segment of radio. But honestly, and if you've listened to the show long enough, how influenced I was by my mother, right? And for the people that were listening back then in 2006, you lived that with me. You went through that with me, losing my mom, and how hard that was for me, and how hard that is for many people. Every day, every time I hear someone losing their mom, it hurts my heart because I know how bad it hurt me, and I'm just. You think different things and everyone reacts different ways. But the first thing I thought about when, Quatrero was embracing his coaching staff and jumping up and down, I said he did that for his mom. Or he's thinking that's for you, Mom, because, his mom just passed away on August 17th. That's not that long ago. Remember, he was gone for a couple of games, and nobody knew where he was. And we find out he was attending the memorial service for his mother. And that, hey, anyone that's lost their mom gets it, and that just strikes a chord. And that was, and you hear him in the, press conference thanking people and what was going through his mind and, how it felt. And it's just, hey, he's the manager. He's just one part of this, but he's been a steady hand. He's been the right guy at the right time for this baseball team. But I just, that was a nice moment. That just felt like, yeah, man, Q deserves that. He just lost his mom. That's probably weighing heavily on his heart, thinking about that. And so that was cool to see him celebrate like that, so soon after losing his mom on August 17th. And then, seeing Bobby Witt Jr., who has just injected so much life into this organization. And again, it hits different, right? If this is happening without him signing the long-term extension, we're still happy, we're still celebrating, but this whole time we're thinking
impending doom.
Got a year or two left. Oh no, his price tag just went up. There goes the price tag. Oh, he had the game-winning RBI in both these games. There goes the price tag. Oh, the home run derby. Here goes the price tag. Oh, finishing in the top 2 in the AL MVP race. Oh, there goes the price tag. We don't think about that right now because he's a Royal for a while.
Yeah, how about that? The boys are playing some ball, huh?
He's not going anyplace. That's our guy. And so it hits different, right? You embrace it even more. And I was talking with my smart-ass friend Anthony last night. And, and look, nothing against the 14 and 15 squads. Loved them, always loved them. Hold a great place in Royals history and in our hearts forever. But there was that thought, like, okay, this is the window, and then everyone's leaving. And I can be able to keep these guys. And it didn't exactly work out that way, but it kind of did. They just, they weren't going to stay together forever, right? And no team does. But you look at some of the elements of this team, like Lucas Urseg, thank you, A's. He's here through 2029. Look, let me tell you something. I'm just being brutally honest. I don't know if I'm here through 2029. All right? Okay? They got team control over him through 2029. I don't know. I don't know who's got control over me through 2029. It sure as hell ain't me. And so maybe I'm not here. Bobby Witt Jr. is here for a while. Vinny Pasquantino is here for a while. Michael Massey, how about the defensive play? Stud is here for a while. Cole Reagans ain't going nowhere. The nucleus that we're watching blossom in front of our eyes is staying together for a while. So there's not this feeling like, oh, they better do it this year because they're blowing it up in the offseason. No. At least from the way I look at it, like, they're building something here. And guess what? Based on the moves that this regime has been making, I have all the confidence in the world that they're just going to get better. Or have they done well making trades? Oh, I don't know, Cole Reagans, Lucas Urseg. Those work out all right? How have they been via free agency? Oh, I don't know. Were you happy with Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha? I mean, it's just, there've been some misses there, but the hits have been home runs. And so there's every reason to believe J.J. Piccolo, Scott Sharp, Daniel Taveros, the whole front office, like, let's go. Let's get it. Make some more deals. Because more times than not, you're going to win. They'll sign more free agents. It worked. John Sherman sees, oh, I spent money in this offseason. Oh, we just won a playoff series. And now the Yankees will be at Kauffman Stadium next week. Huh. Interesting formula. people up in Minnesota with the Twins are like, well, they made trades before the trade deadline and it worked. Now Minnesota, stand pat. Keep doing what you're doing. So I think that makes it even more exciting, right? Doesn't feel like this is just a one and done. But golly, just watching that yesterday, and I'll tell a funny story. Shockingly, so I watched this game at multiple locations, right? First, I was at my dad's house. Long story short, I've been driving my dad's car for a while. Promises were made, gifts exchanged, accusations, all kinds of stuff. Finally, I bring his car back. And so Susan and the girls are going to pick me up after school because Susan works at St. Pius. The girls go there. And so I got a couple hours. So I go down to my dad's basement to take a nap and watch some baseball. So I'm watching the Tigers and the Astros. And then that leads into the first part of the Royals game. And I'm like, the girls pick me up. Okay, take me home now. I watch the game on my phone, on my giant phone. Everyone makes fun of, with giant font. Also with a big screen so I can watch things. Not just giant font because I'm blind. And so, hey, take me home. And then I get eye rolls from both girls. Oh, gee, I told you wouldn't go. I go, what? Okay, they want boba. Some boba tea. That's their deal. You laughing for? You know what boba is?
I kind of do.
A little. To be honest with you, I really don't know what it is. I know it's expensive, and then I know they want it a lot.
They like it.
And I know it tastes pretty good. But they want boba.
There's something in it, right?
I don't know.
I don't either.
And so I read the writing on the wall. I go,
they want some boba.
Go get the boba, and I'll sit in the car and watch my phone. And so then they get the boba. They're okay. Let's go home. So, and this is like the third inning. So then there's a comment. I'm not gonna say who. If I don't eat soon, I'm gonna pass out. What? You're not gonna pass out.
I know who.
You haven't. You okay? The comment suggesting that she hasn't eaten in a week's time or something like that. If I don't eat something soon, I'll pass out.
My blood
I
sugar.
said, you're not going to pass out. You said you're not passing out. Roll the window down. You're not passing out. I know for a fact you ate. Your mother works in the cafeteria. I know for a fact that you ate within 3 hours. Okay? Long story short, within 20 minutes, we're eating Mexican food, which is fine. I'm not putting up a big fight because I know the place we're going is going to have the game on, multiple TVs. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, all right, let's go. We sit down and we're watching. And at one point, we got our food, everything's good. And there's a good amount of people watching the game, but there's some people that are in there that are somewhat oblivious to a playoff game going on around them. And there were two older ladies that were sitting in a booth across from our table that had no idea that there was a Royals game going on. They were just having a nice early dinner. And so then Bobby's up, and this is when Bobby got the infield hit to drive in the run, right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm eating my food. And I think this is a signature moment for me. I have a tortilla in my hand, and Susan's locked in. We're watching the game. I had him sit me at a table with this perfect view of a TV, and Bobby gets the hit, and I go, beat it, and he beats it out, and I didn't do it on purpose. It's how I react. It's my energy. It's what I do. I can't control myself, okay? That's why I tell people, leave me at home during big games. You don't want me around. And so I'm sitting there. I've still got a very nice warm tortilla in my hand. Bobby beats it out. and it was about this loud, too. I do this. I get up. I go, boom, boom. And do a couple of air punches holding the tortilla, right? And when I did the first boom, Susan's next to me, and she does like a real loud, yeah, like a real loud clap. And at the same time, and I mean, this lady, we scared the blank out of her. She almost jumped out of her booth. She had no idea. She's enjoying some chips and salsa or whatever, and I about gave her a heart attack. You can see when someone's visibly shaken. She jumped in the booth, right? And she's looking around. She didn't know. All she hears is a loud guy, boom, beat it, boom, And the lady that was sitting with her in the booth kind of reaches over and goes, they're watching the baseball game. And the one lady goes, oh, and looks and sees all of a sudden, and then realizes that a whole bunch of people were wearing Royals hats and watching the game around the bar. And I felt bad. I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. Bobby beat it out. He beat it out. And I don't know that she knows who Bobby is, but I said it to her like as if that's explaining it to her. I said, I'm sorry, Bobby beat it out.
She knows now. She knows now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you.
Some guy named Bobby.
Thank you.
Made these people go crazy.
Yeah. The best part was when the lady, they're watching the baseball game. Oh. I felt bad because her ass came off the booth. It was, she went in the air, boo.
It's good for her.
Well, sure.
It's good for her.
Maybe she started watching the game after that. And and I looked over. I said, "That was loud, wasn't it?" She said, "Yeah, that was." But I wasn't the only one. But it was loud. It was real loud. That's what Bobby baseball could do to you, And then held on to the tortilla, went right back, and there you go. Seamless transition right back. You don't want to know what happened when MJ Melendez struck out with the bases loaded. That was a different noise that came out of me. I looked at my phone or something. Boddicker better not text me. He didn't text me during the web gem from MJ Melendez, so he better not text me when he strikes out with the bases loaded. I got nothing. So there you go. I don't know how you watch the game, but
in the comfort of a recliner.
So we got through that, got the food, getting ready to leave. Then you get the text, from Phil. Can you guys get me 3 chicken tacos? Got that to go. Made it home for the final 2 innings. Wonderful. Just wonderful. So fun. So much fun, right? It's so much fun.
I didn't realize how much I missed it. Honestly, I didn't realize how much I missed it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
I'm out. I'm on the town, scaring the hell out of people.
I was
making appearances. I love it.
Name drop. I was texting with Scotty Carroll yesterday.
Oh yeah, he texted.
But
I'm so bad about return text. Finally, I said, "Hey."
Because he was like, "Hey, obviously he's like, what makes you more nervous, like playoff football or playoff baseball?" And I said, "It's just different. It just hits different."
Yeah.
It's just
like this every single moment.
That's what. Yeah. The stress.
Like with this game when it's like 1-0, 1-1, then 2-1.
Yeah, it just hits different. Because you get.
Like when Lugo gave up that home run, I'm like, oh my god.
There's important drives or important third down plays. It's so different. It's hard to compare.
Yes, but with Mahomes, we're trained to understand the first 3 quarters are important. Let's get to the 4th quarter.
Right.
Make
sure we have the ball at the end.
Then we'll show you what we got in the 4th quarter.
Right. Right.
This first quarter kind of made me mad. The second quarter's kind of.
We're losing at halftime. Okay, I'm gonna go get something
almost
to
like
eat.
when you're down to the Chargers 10-0. Like, I don't like this.
Yeah, but you're down 10-0 to the Chargers.
Get back to me with 5 minutes left in the game and tell me,
I know what's gonna happen here.
But with this thing, in these 2 games, every at bat, every run, every swing,
it's gripping. It's gripping, and I love it. And I love it.
Right. And I feel like now I should watch every game with the tortilla in my hand.
Well, you might need to.
Because that's not bad. Then you go reach out.
That's great.
Settles my stomach. It's very good. We'll talk to Joe Valerio Buster Olney's on a plane because the Braves refused to win a game.
Right. I was rooting so hard for the Braves so they didn't jack up my schedule.
That's right.
Hey, it is what it is.
And so
Buster Olney will be on tomorrow.
Will be on the show tomorrow.
That's right.
Adam Kaplan's still going to be on the show. Oh, boy. The 8 o'clock hour.
Oh, boy.
Yankee superfan Gary Dieter is going to – I'm just going to tell you this. Me and Sherm are going to rip him apart in the 8 o'clock hour. Oh, no, Sherm ain't going to put up with nothing.
No.
Sherm is a Kansas City Royal fan and a Kansas City man, and he will put up with nothing.
That'll be fun. Tune in.
And then Jesse Newell from the Kansas City Star will put up with betting questions, and we'll also talk about the Royals and the Chiefs. And we have some post-game sound for you from Bobby Witt and Matt Quattrero and Seth Lugo that we're going to play in the 7 o'clock hour. So we got a lot of stuff. It's just awesome. Is it not?
It is. I mean, and now we have the real dilemma on Monday. I guess it's not really a
there's no dilemma.
It's not a dilemma.
You just got to figure out how you're going to do it.
Right.
You know,
there's a dilemma with my focus. I already suffer from severe ADD, but it's going to be like, what's going on here? What's over here? Mahomes?
If you don't know what he's
Bobby
talking
Witt?
about, as we mentioned yesterday,
Right.
we told you right when it came out that Game 2 against the Yankees will be at 6:38 on Monday, and then, not too long after that, kickoff between the Chiefs and the Saints on Monday Night Football.
How awesome.
But so,
How awesome.
People say, how are you going to watch it? I got no choice.
Right.
I cover the Chiefs games. I'm
That's
working.
right.
So I'll be in the press box, but I'll get there early, and I'm Brad G, Luke Shano.
Figure it
Here's
out.
the deal.
Figure it out.
There's got to be a TV with the game on.
Figure it out.
You figure it out. I don't care if the NFL says just whatever. And if not, Lebo and I both have iPads. We'll have that game on. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out.
You need to talk to the stat guys upstairs because I believe they're the ones that control the TV.
Yeah, we'll work something
They're
out.
my guys. They're the guys
Go
I work with during
text them now.
during preseason. Fred.
I'll leave you with this. Only 2 players in AL or NL history have driven in the game-winning run in each of their first 2 career postseason games. Jimmy Fox and Bobby Witt Jr. And right now, SportsCenter, they're showing Royals-Yankees highlights from my youth. They just showed 76. They're showing the brawl between Nettles and Brett in 77. Come on. Come on. Show 80. There it is, show 80. Oh, home run. Brett off Gossage. Upper deck. We'll be back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHP. Welcome back to New Day. Let's check in with former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio. Joe, the Royals have taken over the conversation here in Kansas City because now, after sweeping the Orioles, they get to take, and for someone my age, it really means something to take on the hated New York Yankees, who I saw break the hearts of Kansas Cityans in 76, 77, and 78 before George Brett put the Royals on his back and led them to victory in the 1980 ALCS. And so it's Royals-Yankees again. And I know, as an honorary Kansas Cityan, you'll be rooting heavily for the Royals to beat the Yankees, Joe Valerio, won't you?
Fans, oh my God, I'm super excited about this. And look, what a great organization, right? When you look at baseball, what small markets can do, and how they can do it, and when they do it, it's just you have to celebrate it, right? You have to celebrate because it's so different than football, where they get to share all this big time revenue, and baseball teams are like on their own, and these owners have to create something with their pocketbooks and scratch and claw to get these players paid. And it's not a scratch and claw, but these guys are making millions and millions of dollars. Sorry. Let's put it all into perspective. Compared to other professional sports, it is pretty awesome, right, to see a small market team. And then if they can take it to the Yankees, where you see all the memes and internet stuff out there right now with how many times the Royals have been in the World Series in the last decade or two, and how many times the Yankees have, and it's nice to see. It really is nice to see, as like you said, an honorary Kansas Cityan.
All right, it was also nice to see the Chiefs defense come through big again against the Chargers on Sunday, 17-10, the victory, and Kareem Hunt really led the way for the offense. You saw the big play from Patrick Mahomes to Xavier Worthy for the touchdown and also to seal the deal. But also Kareem Hunt ran, really, really well based on expectations. I'm curious what you thought of the performance from Kareem Hunt.
Well, the Chiefs have an incredible knack for taking players and fitting them into the system, and then also fitting the system around the players. I think it's Andy Reid's superpower. I think it's what made him great in Philadelphia and why he won 130-plus games, why he's won 130-plus games in Kansas City. He is a master at being able to mold it all, right? And I think what he's best at in those two scenarios, with matching players to the playbook and matching playbooks to players, is actually matching the playbook to the players. That's where I think he sets himself really apart. There's a lot of coaches that are pretty good at, getting players to get into their system, right? Whether it's the threat of, not being on the team or getting reps, if you don't learn the system and learn how to play in a coach's culture. I just think what Andy does on the other side of that is he just is incredible. His playbook must have a million pages in that playbook, and he just says, all right, if I have this type of player and this type of player at this position and this position, I'm going to run this play and I'm going to mold it this way and run this motion, and just I'm telling you, that to me is, I know that really isn't the answer you wanted to hear about Kareem, like specifically, but I think that's the beginning of it. That's the genesis of it. Then you take the fact that they're great at taking players that are making comebacks. And, you look at some of these guys and the usefulness that they've gotten out of players towards the end of their careers, Juju Smith-Schuster, MBS, over the last couple of years before this year. Like, they just are incredible at that. And I think that's why Kareem Hunt's found that success. Plus, he's a talent. And he seems renewed, and he seems re-energized, which is half the battle, right, in football, especially when you get to be an older running back. I almost said elderly, but, these days, when you get in your 30s and you're a running back, close to your 30s, you are elderly.
So, this kind of plays into what you're talking about, and how Andy Reid can, reshape his team and the identity of his team based on the personnel that's available, and he can get the most out of players and make them fit, or make his, tailor his offense to fit their skill set. And so now we saw the reemergence of Travis Kelce. We saw the emergence of Kareem Hunt, and they lose Rashee Rice. I don't know. All the speculation, I don't know how long he's out, but I know he's out this week and for the next several weeks at least, at the very least, okay? And so what do you expect to see from this offense Monday night against the Saints and for the next several weeks now that, they never got Hollywood Brown. They lost Isaiah Pacheco. Now they've lost Rashee Rice. They've added Kareem Hunt. Kelsey had a good game last week. How will this offense change? How will Andy get the most of what he's available? What will the identity of this offense be now?
That's a really great question, Stephen. And one thing I will say just before I answer your question and we chat about that is, isn't it incredible how the position that was the most questioned and where there were the most concerns in the offseason they addressed and walked into, pre-training camp with probably grade for grade, pound for pound, overall the best wide receiving core in the NFL. They didn't have the best receiver, that would help your average in that specific case. But when you take Kelsey, Worthy, Rice, Hollywood Brown, and then the depth that they had behind it, you're like, this is the best overall. If you averaged out the grades, best receiving core, and then we go back to now we're a quarter of the way done the season, and we're looking at it as it's the big question mark again. So to me, that's going to be their biggest challenge, no doubt. And then a little bit what they need to do at tackle, but what are they going to do? I mean, Steve, I think they're going to have to rely on the run game more. Even they're like, well, that's counterintuitive, Joe. They don't have Isaiah Pacheco, who's their superstar, and who kind of emerged as a superstar. But they're still going to have to pound the ball. I mean, they're going to have to make people respect Kareem Hunt. If they need to push some yards, they're going to have to get Samaje Perine in there, and hopefully they can get some more out of Carson Steele. I know he's kind of waning a little bit in everybody's eyes, but if they can pound out some yards and get 4 to 5 yards a carry, right, which is a lot to ask, it will help tremendously. Then what they need to do is take the middle of the field, and they need to get back to posting Travis Kelce up. If somebody's going to try to run zone on this team, post Travis up in those open spots like he's so good at. He's like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's an NBA center who just can find that open spot on the post and accept that layup pass. That's what they need to do. Get the middle of the field working and spread the field out. Short passing games, 5, 7, 9 yards, relatively high percentage. Stretch the field horizontally with Xavier Worthy speed, so get the defense stretched out across the 50 yards of the sideline to sideline, and then they take Worthy deep, and they start to press a long game a little bit, which is something we haven't really seen out of this team. But given the fact that we don't have the weapons where people don't know who to double cover, or when they didn't know who to double cover at that point, now they do. When they find one of the receivers that's in there that's going to be their biggest threat, that's going to be the one they're going to try to bracket and lock everybody else down. That's when you start taking them deep and you see if you can press the long pass. And I think Xavier Worthy has the speed to do. We haven't seen that yet, right? We haven't seen a huge vertical stretch game yet out of this team. And I think that's what they do. So they possession receive, Justin Watson short-handed, Juju short-handed. Those guys are more in that, kind of like New England Patriots type receivers, right? Edelman, those shorter, stocky kind of receivers. So they pound the middle of the field with their passing game, high percentage, stretch it all out, and then go deep. I think that's how this team opens it up and sort of lights it up a little bit.
In no way is it a perfect comparison, but with this, with this team's identity now, I think the defense is a top 5 defense, and and I think with this offensive line, they will continue to be able to run the football. And I think back, and they're very good on special teams. I think back to the Chiefs of Marty Schottenheimer before you got there, and then while you were there, but especially before Montana was there. I remember DeBerg was the master of the play-action pass, and they would take deep shots a lot with J.J. Burton, loosen things up to run that football. And then with Montana and in that offense, you guys would take deep shots a lot with J.J. Burton and Willie Davis and then run the football with Marcus Allen. And it seems like, I was thinking about it, you've got Xavier Worthy at least to be able to stretch the defense, to keep them honest, to be able to take shots downfield, loosen things up. Now, they didn't have a tight end like Travis Kelce, and at that point, Joe Montana wasn't Patrick Mahomes. He was still pretty damn good. But there's an element to that, right? Having that speed receiver, even if you're not completing the pass, taking several shots a game to be able to keep that defense honest so they don't stack up totally against the run and try to take that away.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I must be channeling my 1990s playbook and, some of the highlights I see. I catch up with JJ, whenever we're, in Kansas City, and we'll stay in touch and things like that. And he's, you'll see those posts of JJ going deep, and it's so true. The way I look at it, Stephen, is I like to make weird analogies, especially for fans and listeners of our podcast. And I want you to think of a defense as silly putty, right? So think of it as an oval silly putty that you drop out of that little egg. For those of you who are of our age and older that remember silly putty that used to come in the egg, so think of it as that oval that comes out of the egg. And then when you start stretching it across the field. So picture that, and then now all of a sudden that gets really thin, right? And it gets stretched across the field. Then you start running the ball, and you have to pull that silly putty up towards the offense, right? Then all of a sudden, then what do you have? You got the deep, then you got to stretch that defense out and pull it back towards the end zone, right? And you're watching the silly putty stretch in different directions. To me, that's how I think most offensive coordinators think when they look at the stadium from 30,000 feet and they look down at the field. Obviously, the closer you get to the players, the more granular it gets about the placement of the players and when you blitz and do those things. But the overarching concept is you've got to look at it from the blimp, right? And you look down and you see the defense. You see the defense moving up against the run because you feel the threat. Marcus Allen, Christian Okoye, Barry Word, Bill Jones, right? Thinking back to those guys of the 90s, right? And you're pulling the defense up. And then all of a sudden you stretch it horizontally by running vertical stretch or horizontal stretch plays, right? Where you got your receivers kind of posting up across the field, lined up horizontally. Then you go for the vertical stretch, right? Where you go deep. You run Travis on a deep out, 10, 15 yards. You run Xavier deep 30 yards. You flare your running back out of the backfield at 5 yards. Now you're stretching the team horizontally. I think it's a good way to look at it. So as fans are watching the game, watch that movement of the defense, when they show those big sideline shots, and you can kind of see how the defense is reacting and why the deep ball works, right? Because all of a sudden that defense has been pulled in towards the offense, and then boom, you expose it deep. So yeah, that's the way I think they're going to do it, Stephen. And I must be channeling my big Paul Hackett, Joe Pendry playbook from the 1990s.
And what a joy it was to put the silly putty on a newspaper article and to be able to copy the print and then look at it. That's how those were toys back then. It would keep me interested for hours, Jake. I just love it. Joe, tell us what the yes.
I gotta say, but on Sunday when the color comics would come, that was golden, man. Because on Sundays that's when they would print the comics in color. Oh, heaven.
Put me in a room with silly putty in the Sunday paper. You wouldn't hear from me for hours. I had issues. Okay, Joe, what's the score going to be on Monday night? And tell people where they can listen to the podcast.
Yeah, well, I'll start with the podcast, Believe in Chiefs, BLEAV, with my podcast partner, Jeff Fedotin, Forbes sports writer. Look, I've been very gracious to the Chiefs this year. I think I've been really pumping up the scores. They're going to win this game. They are going to go 5-0. I'm not saying that, but I'm not going to give them as much leeway or credit. I think there's some struggles right now. Tackle's an issue on offense. The receiving core, they got to figure that out. Defense is obviously playing phenomenal. I'm thinking this game's going to be a little closer. I'm thinking like 21-14 this week, Stephen. I think it's going to be a good game. The Saints are a good team. They're not slated to be Super Bowl bound, but they're playing solid right now. So I'm 21-14, good solid win for the Chiefs. Get over this hump, get themselves ready, get closer to the bye week, and then then all gloves are off.
I'll take it, Joe. Thanks for the time. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it, buddy. Thanks.
Jake, moving forward, simple request. When we're done speaking with Joe Valerio, I would like to drop, "Thanks, Joe." That just popped in my head. No, I don't. Give me another reason to hear that once a week. One of my favorite drops. So that's all. That was Joe Valerio. We'll be right back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you. Now, and I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
A huge compliment.
Yeah, you know